By contributing to Unity, we demonstrate the flow of abundance in our lives and acknowledge the value of our spiritual community. Your gifts of time, talent, and treasure enable us to support the work that goes on within our church and our work in the community. Here are some ways in which you can contribute. You can donate by text and using your smartphone to text your contribution as follows. Text 919-948-1234. Then type in the $ and amount. Then press send. For first-time setup, we'll require you to enter your credit card information by clicking on the link. Then enter the amount of your contribution, tap on Give to General Fund, then tap on Give this one time to select the frequency of your donation from the drop-down menu, and then select your method of payment. You can also save this number to your contacts. You can donate online by visiting unitytriangle.org/donate or scanning the QR code on the screen or in one of our flyers. You can do so by pointing your smartphone camera directly at the QR code or downloading the QR Reader app from the App Store. Tap the orange Donate button located at the very top of the screen. Then enter the amount of your contribution. Select Give to Tithes, and then tap on Give this one time to select the frequency of your contribution. Later select your method of payment and tap Continue. Enter your payment information, and once you're ready, tap Give. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Story of love, tell me of heaven above, teach me of peace here on earth. I can't tell you what that is worth. Teach me to give of my heart and to be one with the whole, this without coming apart, and yet without losing my soul. Teach me to open my eyes, show me to open my heart, help me to give of myself to the world, teach me to teach for a start, just take me into your arms, don't shelter me from all harm, just take me into your love, and that would be more than enough. Show me to open my heart. Help me to give of myself to the world. Teach me to teach for a start. And just take me into your arms. Don't shelter me from all harm. Just take me into your love.
story of love. Tell me of heaven above. Teach me of peace here on earth. I can't tell you what that is worth. Teach me to give of my heart and to be one with the whole. This without coming apart, and yet without losing my soul. Teach me to open my eyes
myself to the world. Teach me to teach for a start. Just take me into your arms. Don't shelter me from all harm. Just take me into your love, and that would be more than enough. Myself to the world. Teach me to teach for a start. And just take me into your arms. Don't shelter me from all harm. Just take me into your love.
Good morning and happy Father's Day. Morning, Reverend Neusom.
Good morning, Ravana.
Here we are, one more chance to connect with our people, to worship together, to feel the love of the divine in so many ways. And today, besides celebrating our parents, our fathers, by the way, papi, felicidades, we will get to have our summer solstice event this afternoon here at the church. So either if you're online now, but you have some free time at 6:30, 7, right? 7, yes. We're going to gather, we're going to do a solstice ritual, then we're going to have some social time, ice cream, music, and fun. So you have your outfit for this afternoon?
Yes, I definitely do.
What are we doing today, Neusom?
So today we're talking about a little bit about the solstice, but mostly about fathers. And we're going to be speaking a lot about what it is to be a father and how important they are.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Okay, well, fasten your seatbelts, and we're ready to get on with our service. Thank you for tuning in. We love you and bless you.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I said, it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun. I say it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun. I said it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I said it's all right. Here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun. I said it's all right. It's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes.
As a reminder, prayer chaplains are available to pray one-on-one with you in the sanctuary when we meet in person. But if you are watching online, you can also seek out a prayer chaplain by going to unitytriangle.org, scroll down on the homepage, and find the Zoom link, and you will be placed in a private room with a prayer chaplain to pray. So now let's pray over the names in the prayer box. We come together in prayer, honoring and blessing the divine masculine on Father's Day. We offer prayer support to fathers, those preparing to be fathers, and those who have been a father figure in someone's life. Fathers are the seed of creation, bringing life into expression. just as the earth brings life to nature. As we allow the masculine to come forth, we attune to the flow of life and the strength and the protection of our Creator. We affirm God and I are one. As we realize this truth and repeat this mantra, we give thanks for the magnificence of creation and the assurance of natural law. We bless every name in this prayer box, affirming each one is a divine expression of love, and each is expressing both the masculine and the feminine aspects of the divine and themselves. May every individual remember their truest self and honor and bless all aspects of themselves. We hold this truth for all fathers, all individuals, and all family units. We rest in gratitude and thanksgiving for all things, and so we let it be. Amen.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well.
As we move into meditation, let's adjust our bodies so that we can feel comfortable and allow the mind to quiet by paying attention to the breath for a few moments. So we will feel the breath as it comes and goes, both as it comes in and as it goes out. We keep the mind only on the breath so that it may quiet. Let us move the breath's focus, the focus of the breath itself, to the heart center. And as we breathe into the heart center, let us allow our hearts to open and to feel a sense of expansiveness in the chest, and perhaps a glowing feel of energy. So the mind is quieting, but the heart is quickening. As the heart opens, let us begin to remember our fathers, or the person who played our father in our life. And see if you can place that person in the center of your heart. And as you do so, perhaps you will notice the totality of their life, their childhood, their adulthood, their time with you as a father figure, the time before and after that. And see them with their mistakes and their successes. And hold them in your heart. Recognize their total humanity and not just their role in your life. Now see if you can bring energy to them, a blessing of love and acceptance. And perhaps you can feel gratitude, or invite gratitude to be your experience of your relationship with them. Find at least one thing to be grateful for. And thank them. And if there's anything you feel like needs to be forgiven, let's forgive them of that now. Now let's forgive ourselves for being unforgiving. Not excuses, but forgiveness. Let us receive forgiveness and give forgiveness. And once again, let us feel gratitude. And find at least one thing to be grateful for. And say thank you. As we sit together in holy silence, let us sit in gratitude with our hearts open, extending love, gratitude, and grace to the person who is the Father of our life. Happy Father's Day and happy solstice. Today we want to recognize both of those events that happen annually. And the one I would like to start with is the solstice. You know, the sun and God has often been equated. And I think many early cultures held the sun as God, essentially. Now, if you think about this day, then this would be a day about God. And let me just talk to you briefly about how Jesus saw God. Early in the Hebrew scriptures, God starts out as Elohim, who is like the creator, and then he becomes Lord God, Yahweh, Elohim, and then he moves into other names like El Shaddai, the Almighty. These are names that have traditionally held God at some distance, as though something foreign. When Jesus comes along, he offers another name for God. He offers the name Abba, or translated to English, Daddy. So think about that. You move God from being this all-powerful or the great creator or the creator all, Lord creator. Oh my gosh, you just think of, some powerful figure that is distant that you must be afraid of, etc. And Jesus comes along and he calls him Daddy. Now, isn't that a sweet shift? A shift from Father the feared to Father the loved and embraced. And one of the things I think you can take from that is that if you adopt this close, loving experience of the divine, such that it's not so much something out there, but something embracing and in here, something warm and comforting, something that wants to give you all that you really need and wants you to succeed and wants you to be happy, healthy, and successful like a father. This is what Jesus offered. Let's move the idea of the most powerful thing in the universe, the most pervasive energy in the universe, to be not of a threat, but of support. And so we move God from being a sun that burns or provides heat and energy and life, but is distant, to one that is intimate and close. And that brings us to Father's Day. And essentially, there is God the Father, and we often talk about God the Daddy now with Jesus. Let's talk about daddies and their role in our lives. One of the things that is true these days is often fathers are absent. It's projected by UNICEF that the worst crisis we have in the world right now is the absence of fathers in the family. They, in UNICEF, say it's worse than the natural disasters or wars. And so this social ill that is going around is something we should address. And I don't mean to address it from a moralistic point of view, but just more or less from a statistical point of view. There are now, among women in America under the age of 24, 60% of the children are born without a father or without being married, unmarried mothers. Of the whole population of children born, 40%. That means that fathers in those families are more likely absent than present for much of their life. And then you have divorce, and divorce, even among families that were formed together, often split up. And men, as most people assume, will not take the primary role in the relationship of the children, and so is moved out of the family even further, sometimes having visitation rights, sometimes sharing custody, but it is less than it was. It's a come and go kind of experience with the father at best. And so in this country, we have this sense of absence with our fathers. And there's certain things that only fathers can bring to the family dynamic. Mothers are, we assume, at least for most mothers, naturally given to bonding with the children because of the time in pregnancy and the way women's brains change and their bodies change so that they can support a child. That this is natural and we understand this, and it has been assumed that for men it's not the same. But recent studies have shown that men's brains also change when they become fathers. Now, they don't tend to form the bonding relationship during pregnancy. Their bonding tends to start a little time later, more at the time of rough play with the child. As many of you have seen, fathers often take their daughters or sons and swing them around and get them to laugh and stuff. This has also been shown to emit oxytocin in both their brains, the father and the daughter or son. And that is a bonding experience, and the endorphins are kicked off at the same time. And so roughhouse play between a father and their children is one of those quick ways of developing bonding between them. But activity in general is the way in which fathers interact with their children and where their bonding becomes more complete. Now, one of the things that happens if it's absent, if the father being absent, that is, in the family, it's some of the questions that only a father can answer don't seem to get answered. While the mother might be thought of as more or less unconditional and permanent in the child's mind, the father is holding a different position. The father's position in the family is to expose the child to challenge and to teach them how to do things and to prepare them for successes and for failures. And so it's natural that the father, whose mind is now changed by the relationship with the children, wants to engage with the child, wants to be there. It turns out that the brain has changed so much that the ability to plan and to think ahead has increased. And the receptors for emotion, like oxytocin and bonding, have deepened so they're more receptive to the emotional state of a child. So one of the things that fathers do when they become fathers is they become emotionally more available to the children. Now, many fathers fail at that quite terribly, some a little bit, and some not perfect. And few of us ever get it right completely. But the direction of the father's intent, the direction of the father's essentially heart, has been moved by this bonding with the child toward the child. And so what the child looks to the father for instinctively is to answer three questions. To answer the question, what do you think about me? Or what do you feel about me? Or what are your hopes and dreams for me? And when those questions go unanswered, there's a missing in the child. A chaotic tendency erupts. And fathers that are too much absent have statistically been shown to cause children to do worse in school, to have more chance for addiction, to have more likelihood of depression. But when they're present, it's just the opposite. And so if we can bring our fatherhood to children and to answer those questions, often unspoken by the child, to tell them what we think, to let them know that we care and feel for them, and to hold high hopes for them. There's a story of a woman who was doing a lecture on TED Talk, and she was talking about her father. All her life she wanted to be a doctor. And so throughout high school and college, she had done everything she could to prepare for it, and she applied to medical school, and she was turned down by 20-some medical schools. And this left her in a sense of wonder as what her life would be about, and a bit of depression. And so she was accidentally walking by her father as he was on the phone, and she overheard him say something about her, and so she put her ear to the door, and what she heard was, "My daughter will be going to med school in a couple of years," which told her everything, answered all three questions: what he thought of her, what his hopes and dreams for her, and what he felt for her. This was the kind of reinforcement that we need from our fathers. And it seems to me that mothers, because of their tendency to be there all the time, can't answer that with as much force as a father can, even if it's heard through the door. Now, one thing that makes it difficult for fathers to be there emotionally, like they would like to be there for their daughters and sons, or even for anyone else, including themselves, is a wounding that happens to men early on. And essentially, the first wounding is this idea, is the rejection of the mother. Now, the mother doesn't necessarily have to reject the child, but because she says, "You're not like me, you must separate from me," it can feel like a rejection. And so it really then boils down to the father to do something for the boy, to answer the question, "Are you enough?" Suddenly, as you leave your mother, you have a missing. And the father wound then can be so large when the father doesn't answer the question, "Am I enough? Am I man enough?" And borrowing from the fact that we don't have enough of that answered by our fathers, many men look to the big three to substitute for that answer. The big three being money, sex, and power. And so they pursue those as though it would give them a sense of fulfillment of their manhood. And then you add that to that, they tend to not want to cry. This alienates them from their own feelings. And so many times they are not able to create the bonding and the communication that would be helpful for a child or a marriage for that matter. And this goes on from generation to generation. So I was watching this man talk about his ambition to be the world's greatest father. And he had all these ideas about what he should be, like he should be the hero, he should be this powerful being, he should be right, all that. He began to throw those out and come to these ideas that what he really needed to do was to love his child. And even as much as that, he needed to communicate that he was interested in their life, that he wanted to know what was going on for them, that he wouldn't try to solve their problems for them, but would be with them in the solution somehow. I think this is our next evolutionary step in fatherhood, is that we don't have to be the perfect person. We don't have to be the man who is successful in all ways, or at least in the ones that we thought of because we didn't have the question answered, are we enough? We don't have to have money, sex, and power to prove that we're worthy. Instead, we must develop this ability to feel our own feelings and to tend to the wound that we have because of the unanswered questions in our lives. To be able to feel into our own hurt enough that we can begin a healing process in our very hearts. And when we do that, I think it will be easier for us to make communication and loving the object of our efforts as a father. And it will bring us closer to our children, which is really, in so many ways, what the child wants from the father. Not so much to be provided for only financially, but to be connected, to be known, seen, to have the father's thoughts about the child. Now, if you take this back to Jesus, so Jesus says that essentially God is not like up there keeping a scorecard on you. Rather, God is in the process of loving you and would love to be in communion with you. And if you take this daddy figure of God and don't make it too much a human being, an anthropomorphic idea, but instead allow it to be a generalized feeling that the universe loves you, that the divine loves you indiscriminately, whether you're succeeding or failing, that you are being hoped and dreamed into the successes of your lives, not just by your own desires, but by the desires of the universe itself. That you are being invited to know that you are loved and accepted at all times. If that becomes the baseline feeling that we cultivate and we allow to grow in ourselves, then I think we will be more courageous, more bold, more gentle, more strong in our defense of what is good, less needing to be aggressive and to show off. If we can pull that off, if we can go to the level of depth of our own healing and to also change our thoughts about the divine, not that it is cold and sterile, but instead that it is profoundly loving and encompassing, just as we have always wanted from our divine parent. You know, they say the number one thing in a woman's life towards self-esteem is not whether she won on the soccer field or she was the number one in her class. It is, was her father affectionate with her physically? Now you think about that. That what we really long for and drives our inner thoughts is being loved and hugged. If you can translate what Jesus was saying into your experience of the world around you, that it loves and hugs you, that it is at your beck and call like a daddy is to a child. If you can get that, I think we set the conditions, as Anna said earlier, for success, for happiness, and for peace of mind. So on this day in which we celebrate the Son and the Father, let us adopt this idea that the divine is Daddy. And let us also apply the wisdom of today in knowing how to parent those that we can be fathers to. And let us be kind to ourselves and to others for the wounds they have already. We are here to heal this world and to become all that we have been invited to by our Daddy. Let us step up and do it. With grace and ease, may you find this day beautiful, and may you remember your Father with love and affection. Namaste.
When you can't find the light that got you through a cloudy day, when the stars ain't shining bright, you feel like you lost your way. When those candle lights at home burn so very far away, now you got to let your soul shine, just like my daddy used to say. Soulshine, it's better than sunshine, it's better than moonshine, damn sure better than rain. Oh, now people don't mind, everybody gets this way sometimes. So you gotta let your soul shine, shine till the break of day. Grew up thinking that I had it made, gonna make it on my own. Life can take the strongest man, make him feel so all alone. Sometimes I feel a cold wind blowing through my aching bones. I think back to what my daddy said, and it's darkest before the dawn. He used to say, soulshine, it's better than sunshine, better than moonshine, damn sure better than rain. Well, now people don't man can feel this emptiness, like someone has robbed him of his very soul. Oh, woman too, God knows she can feel like this. And when your world seems so cold, let the spirit take control. The soul shine is better than sunshine. It's better than moonshine. Damn sure better than rain. Oh, now people don't mind. Everybody gets this way sometimes. Still, you gotta let your soul shine. Shine till the break of day. Oh, you gotta let your soul shine. 'Cause it's better than sunshine. It's better than moonshine. It's even better than rain. Ooh, people don't mind. Everybody gets this way sometime. So you gotta let your soul shine. Shine till the break of day. Better than sunshine, and it's better than rain. Oh, no, don't mind. Everybody gets this way sometime. Gotta let your soul shine, shine till the break of day. You gotta let your soul shine, shine till the break of day.
Neusom Holmes. Wasn't that amazing? It really opened my heart. I was connecting with my dad. And as I have grown in age and matured spiritually, I realized the gift of a loving father. And I have been so blessed to have that. From an early age, I was like my father's little girl who he's always supported, believed in me, and also he has, which I think it's a big deal, that we have had mutual dreams.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing me into the space of recognition.
Well, you know, I think that as I have, like you, in the last years, thought more about my father, and I seem to think about him more all the time. He's been dead for like 27 years, but at this point, it's like I'm still discovering things he's done for me that
You couldn't see at the time, maybe.
or just overlooked as kind of like not that important. It's like, wow. Take, for instance, I mean, he worked a lot, and so in some ways he was an absent father, but not terribly, but I mean, he did work a lot. But it set our family up to not be in lack and to feel like we could go to college and we could do whatever we needed to, and that in the end we would be successful too because our father was successful. And so all that has cascaded through my life, and only now am I beginning to see just what a gift it was that he was determined for himself and for us to be successful. And having been successful, then I feel like, well, I should be successful. Right?
You know, I'm really, at this moment, I'm feeling even your dad's love. He was a very committed and loving guy who did a lot for his family.
Yeah, he definitely did. And, you know, and it gave him purpose. And he loved more than he was not
maybe capable of showing affection.
He did show it, but he showed it in his ways. It wasn't always in ways that, you know, that you fits a romantic comedy. Do you know what I mean? It was much more practical in his ways of showing love.
You know, having a day a year to celebrate mothers and fathers, it's really a great thing. Besides, gathering together or getting a gift for them, it's really understanding more and more what fathers and mothers have meant in our lives, even if maybe we haven't had or a father figure or mother figure that has really helped us to be who we are today. And it's really a beautiful expression of divine love experienced through our closest.
Yes,
So
it's true.
thank you very much. My heart is really open. And as I open my heart, automatically it's about expressing, about giving, about showing. So I hope that as your heart has opened, and maybe could be even a healing experience, refining your memory of your father, as hopefully that's happened for you and to you, maybe just express it, and maybe by calling somebody who represents like a father figure in your life, maybe being closer to your own children, but just give. And these times where we give of our material substance, and we want to say thank you to all of you who have committed to supporting this organization so that we can keep doing what we're doing right now, which is offering services in person and online.
As you were saying that, it dawned on me that everybody who contributes to this church in some way is like a father or like a mother, but like a father who provides for the needs of the family. And we don't ask everybody to give. If you have nothing, don't give. But if you have something, and even the widow had something, if you have something, give. It makes the world a better place, and it makes this a more successful church.
And give it from a happy, joyful way, because it does make a difference when we give with that joy. So at this time, let's all unite in that joy of giving by affirming together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And talking about giving, there's another opportunity from our outreach Unity in the Community folks that we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to have the Red Cross is going to do a blood drive here on the 23rd. So on Wednesday from 10 to 2:30 here in the Fellowship Hall. Come give us your blood.
And so it is.
And so it is.
But we will get to see you today at 7 o'clock here at the church. We're going to have a great summer solstice celebration. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully see you this afternoon, and if not, see you next Sunday.
Namaste. Have a great week.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all on me. Let us walk with our family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.